Now, as 2024 comes to an end, I don't know that anyone really would consider it a banner year across the board in almost any economic sector, especially not the housing market. Overall, U.S. home prices did actually increase anywhere from 3 to 4%, depending on what study you look at. But overall, the number of transactions that occurred nationally is far less than what it has been just a few years ago. In fact, if you look back in 2021, we transacted over 6 million real estate deals across America, which is amazing. Now, that was a banner year. Everything was kind of up and inflated to an extent. But last year, in comparison, we just closed over 4 million transactions. And this year, we're slated in 2024 to end up right around 3.9 million real estate transactions. So when you compare the high year just 3 years ago of 2021 down to where we are in 2024 and take off 2.2 million transactions off the table, that does not make for a banner year in the real estate sector because transaction count matters almost more so than appreciation in many sectors in terms of how the economy engine runs. But what about 2025? What's going to happen then? Well, that's the question everyone wants to know. So we're going to get after that right now in this video. But first, if you want to email us or call us, reach out to us on our contact information below. We'd be happy to speak with you about any questions you have about relocating or moving up or down within the Phoenix area. We have over 450 Google 5-star reviews, so please take their word for it over ours any day. But back to the video, real estate is localized. We all know that. That being said, what is it like in the state of Arizona? Well, in Arizona, the appreciation level actually increased 0.7% in 2024. So again, overall in the entire state, and there are places that are not good as others, actually went up despite the low transaction count due to the locked-in effect, with most homeowners being below 4% on their mortgages. And then within the Phoenix area, there's a lot of different suburbs, and so it's local to that as well. And it's even micro-local into certain neighborhoods and zip codes or school districts as well, things that we all can help you out with specifically if you want to give us a call. No problem at all. But let's look at a few graphs here. Let's take a few different cities and see what happened with their price points in 2024. Phoenix started off the year with a median price point of $416,250 and ended the year at $430,000. Now let's jump over to the city of Scottsdale, a little more affluent area. It started the year 2024 at $800,000 for a median price point and finished the year around $860,000. Let's go down to East Valley with the growing suburb of Chandler, and it started the year at $492,000 for a median home price and ended at $545,000. Now let's go over to the West Valley, to the city of Peoria, that's also booming. It started the year at $479,950 for a median price point and ended the year at $513,475. So as you can see, we took a sample size of the main city of Phoenix, an affluent suburb of Scottsdale, and growing East Valley suburb, and a West Valley suburb as well. And they all are up, and the median home price is up fairly significant from the beginning of 2024 to the end of 2024. So Phoenix is experiencing this boom of a major influx of population, but most importantly, you could argue, economic growth. Overall, if you take the greater Phoenix entire area, it's looking like we're going to end the year about $474,000 for a median home price in all these areas combined. It is growing. The graphs are showing an increase across the board in Phoenix, which is an exciting time to be a homeowner in this area. Now, if you're not a homeowner, you want to jump into the real estate game and you're worried about affordability, we totally get that. Well, let's look at some of what the experts are saying about what 2025 is going to bring, not just for price increase, but also potentially for interest rates. Here are some of the predictions from some of the big companies out there that spend millions of dollars on all this economic research that they do. Realtor.com says that home prices will be up 6.3% in 2025 across the board. Redfin predicts 4% rise in home prices. Fannie Mae, in conjunction with Pulsomics, actually forecasts a 3.8% gain in home prices. And Zillow overall predicts a 2.6% home price growth in 2025. Now, a lot of experts also predict that mortgage rates will actually decrease in 2025 overall, the 30-year fix. Now, we know the Fed has dropped the rates down a little bit here recently, but it's actually had the inverse effect on 30-year mortgage rates. Why? Because of the bond market, and the bond market not quite believing that inflation is truly under control. But in 2025, experts believe that's going to change, and the 30-year fix will come down into the low 6th percentile. So people believe it's going to bounce around 6 to maybe 6.25, as high as the Mortgage Bankers Association saying it's going to average out around 6.4%. Either way, that's going to be a lot better than where rates have been for the past to 2.5 years, traditionally speaking, because they've been hovering around the 7% mark. And if you research the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, which is a huge governing body, their chief economist, Lawrence Yun, actually predicts that 2025 is going to be better than 2024 overall. And they predict that you're going to see home sales go from about 3.8, 3.9 million that will finish out across America in 2024 to about 4.1 to 4.2 million homes sold in 2025. That increase of transaction count will play dividends for the housing market across the board and all the other economic aspects that come with a good housing market. Now, after all the research I did, I couldn't find a whole lot of negative predictions for 2025, but the one I did find that was probably the most contrary to most of these other companies' research is Moody's Analytics, where they said that 2025 is actually going to be more of the same that we saw in 2024. But even with that, the interesting part is they still predicted that home prices will increase anywhere from 1 to 1.5% in 2025. So guys, I think if you're waiting to jump into the housing market, you may be waiting a little bit longer if you're waiting for prices to come down significantly. But again, this is all national, broad-basing macro predictions. What will happen to our localized area here in Phoenix? What will happen to the suburb you want to live in or the zip code or neighborhood you want to live in? Well, that's yet to be determined, and that's something that a local realtor could certainly help you out with. But Kelly, do we think that the local economy here in Arizona will support a housing growth overall in 2025? And I think the answer is yes. I have countless videos on my YouTube channel that talk about the commercial activity and development that is occurring and scheduled to occur in the Phoenix area. If you look at the map right here, you can see that one of the smallest counties in all of the state of Arizona is Maricopa County, but it borders Pinal County to the southwest. And why do we talk about these two counties? Well, Pinal County is set to explode in 2025, in my humble opinion, because of all the growth and all the companies that are relocating, especially in the manufacturing and tech sectors, to Pinal County. And the reason is because the land is cheaper down there and the cost of housing is cheaper down there for employees to be able to buy homes and experience the dream of homeownership without having to commute too far and pay a high price. So even though Pinal County is much larger and spread out, I think it is poised, especially on the areas like Coolidge and Florence that actually kind of border to an extent the greater Phoenix area, because location matters. And the amount of companies coming to Pinal County, from LG to Kohler to Lucid Motors, and the list goes on and on and on, as they find Arizona being a booming economy in the near future, years to come. And if you look to a lot of different publications and their predictions for the top cities to grow in 2025, Phoenix makes the list on almost all of those top 10 lists across the board. It is just poised for, again, continued growth. But the reason why home prices will continue probably to go up is not just the demand from people relocating to Phoenix and from snowbirds and second homeowners to experience the beautiful weather we have in half of the year, but also it's the lack of overall supply. See, home builders are taking down big parcels of land in the east and west valleys in the Phoenix area, but it takes time to entitle all that land to get the development going and, of course, build the houses. Phoenix hopefully will have that supply catch up to the demand that is there, but it's going to take years for that to happen. And in the interim, as long as the overall economy in the U.S. is doing average to good, then Phoenix is poised to continue to have growth in the housing transaction count and the housing appreciation number. So I think overall, the long-term growth of Phoenix is even more exciting than the short-term growth for 2025. But 2025 is a great time, I think, to get into the market if you are considering doing so, because I think it's going to take off even more so in the next 5 to 10 years due to all the major economic development, especially in the tech sector and the government grants that are being given for the CHIPS Act and all of these manufacturing tech jobs that are coming to the Phoenix area from not just Intel or TSMC, but many others like Amcor as well. So I know I threw a lot at you guys, but I think 2025 is overall going to be a good year. Nothing spectacular, but I think it's set up to be a really spectacular 5 to 10 to 15 year run in this Phoenix area. If you have any questions about real estate at all in Phoenix, give me a call, 480-660-5974. Anytime of day, we'd be happy to chat with you about your real estate needs or questions overall about the local area, as we are passionate about our beautiful city of Phoenix. And check out our Instagram page right here at Kelly Cook Homes, where we're putting out daily content for your personal education and enjoyment. And don't forget to call me.